Hello, I'm Krista Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Well, this summer has been hot, but for most of us, it's certainly been better than last year's record-setting drought and heat.
That said, it's been a spotty year for rainfall in some areas. This week, TWILA's Neil Melancon takes us to Grant Parish, where corn harvest has wrapped up after a tough year.
Corn harvest is winding down here in Grant Parish. At Toro Farms in Colfax, farmer Ryan Yerby is glad to see it go.
See how short this here is? It's not finished all the way to the tip. 120 or less.
Yerby said at least at first it was rainy enough.
And these seasonal rains really helped push it along through the year. But here we got to the very end. We made it through pollination well, and we got to filling kernels. We needed probably 2 more rains, and they didn't happen. So we're starting to see some yield loss from not getting those last 2 rains.
The drying up has helped harvest move along, but it really hurt the corn crop. In fact, on non-irrigated lands, Yerby says the difference can be as much as 100 bushels per acre.
Normally on our irrigated corn, we'll have yields anywhere 235, 250 average. But with the excess heat and the lack of these last two rains, we're starting to see some yield drag down into the 200s or lower. Our dryland corn generally cuts 175, 185 on average around here. We're seeing some down into the 140s, even down into the 120s in some spots. So the heat and the dry weather has really hurt.
Also hurting is the fact that all this corn won't get a great price. A downturn in the market that started this year has no signs of letting up while inputs remain high.
With the downturn in the markets this year, soybeans below 10, corn below 4, it's really making the financials really look ugly. It's really hard to plan, it's really hard to focus, and you have to watch every penny on every input. The inputs are going up steadily. The seed, fertilizer, technology, they're going up, and there's no sign of them ever coming down. But with the downturn in the markets, it's really made it more difficult. Coming off of a drought last year where you had a poor crop, and then downturn in the markets this year, you combine that with a bad yield, and there's going to be some people that just will not make it through another one.
Like many grain farmers, Yerby planted milo this year after last season's prolonged drought.
We had pretty much all of our eggs in one basket, per se. We had corn and we had a lot of soybeans. And when the drought came in, you didn't get the rains, the soybeans didn't produce. Whereas we chose to segue into milo a little bit. It's a hardier crop. It handles the drought well, and it's good for the crop rotation to add some organic matter back into the soil.
One bright spot is Yerby's bean crop, which has a lot of pods on the plants, as you can see here.
The soybean crop is looking pretty well right now. Again, we were a little late getting planted. We pushed planting, went all the way into June, which is generally later than we like to see. But like I said, we got these seasonal rains, and it kept them going. And we got the crop off to a good start. Naturally, some of our later planted beans are struggling a little bit, but you know, we definitely could use a rain right now.
Beans have been hurt a bit by the weather, and you can see a clear difference in irrigated versus non-irrigated bean plants. While the yields might be better, it's also costly at a time when beans are below $10 a bushel.
They need water right now to make a big, hearty bean instead of a little short, round BB. So that's why we're pumping water. And as we're pumping water out here, we're also pumping dollars out into this field. Every gallon of water we pump, it costs. We're burning diesel. We've got the cost of the pipe, cost of the well. Now hopefully the added production from the irrigation will pay off.
Corn is in the short rows here in Louisiana, but with temperatures above 100 degrees and corn prices below $4, many are wondering if this will be the last crop they bring in. Reporting from Colfax, Louisiana, I'm Neil Melancon.
The USDA is forecasting large U.S. crop yields and large planting for next year's South American crop. Leftover soybeans from this year are expected to exceed 500 million bushels.
Corn yields on Ryan Yerby's farm took a major hit just 2 days after Neil Melancon shot that story.
Well, when they say farming has its ups and downs, I think they were talking about the end of our 2024 corn crop.
Yerby says 60-plus mile-an-hour winds blew down about 300 acres of his corn crop. This was from a storm that blew in from the north late Sunday night into Monday morning. Yerby says his yields went from more than 200 bushels per acre to 60 bushels per acre. And he's not alone. Yerby says while he is still harvesting the corn that fell, some of his neighbors are not sending combines into those fields because the damage is just too great. Again, this happened at the end of the season when farmers had put their full investment of time, care, and money into the crop just to have Mother Nature destroy it. According to the latest crop progress report from the USDA, Louisiana's rice crop is 71% harvested, a number that's likely much higher for rice farmers down in South Louisiana.
This week, TWILA's Karl Wiggers caught up with one of those rice farmers in Allen Parish as he cuts his final acres of the crop.
It's a beautiful day east of Kinder, Louisiana for Eric Uncle to be finishing up his rice harvest.
We are about 90% finished with our first crop. There's about 350 acres left to harvest this week, providing that we have room to dry it. Bin space has become at a premium right now.
As you can see, Uncle is spending his time at the bins that are nearly full with what he says has been a decent crop.
The yields have been decent. I wouldn't say breaking the bank, but they're good. They're decent yields. We had rain when we needed it. We had the right temperatures at certain times. In our area, I'm not speaking for the whole state, but in this area, we had a really pretty crop coming into the harvest, and it's been, for the most part, it's been pretty nice.
Uncle did get some rain at the beginning of harvest, but it's been dry for the past 3 weeks. When it comes to prices, he says the market price could always be better, but aside from the interest rates, there are other problematic input prices that don't make the headlines.
The cost of fertilizer and chemicals aren't outrageous. It's the duct tape, it's the parts, it's all the little stuff that nickel and dime you. That's the expensive part of this crop. You know, we could use another $3 or $4 a hundred would be great, but I mean, this is what we're dealt with, so we're gonna have to do the best we can with what we got.
While harvest is the season you may assume farmers enjoy the most, Uncle says spring is his favorite. But when it comes to harvest, there is a particular time of that season that does stand out.
It seems like the planting side is not as stressful, but harvest, you get to see reap your benefits. And I'm the guy that's got all the jobs, so I don't really know what I'm doing every day, but I like it after it's over.
Stressful or not, there's no other way Eric Uncle would want to make a living.
Look, I've done this, I'm a third generation producer, been a part of this, I've grown up, I don't know anything else. So it's I enjoy it, I love it, it's a great industry to be in.
Reporting from Kinder, I'm Karl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
In a couple weeks, National Rice Month begins, and we'll bring you more profiles on the farmers who grow rice. We'll also show you how the rice checkoff programs keep these farmers competitive in a global market.
Louisiana is getting a share of nearly $100 million from the USDA to boost renewable biofuel storage and transportation. It's part of the Higher Blends Infrastructure Incentive Program, which was created out of the federal infrastructure bill. USDA is funding 160 projects across 26 states. In Louisiana, that money will go to Shreveport to improve railroad tracks and car loading systems for the Kansas City Southern Railway Company, which distributes fuel across the Southeast. This project is expected to increase the amount of biofuel sold by nearly 1 billion gallons a year.
There are 16 stations that are part of the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture radio network. Those stations provide vital information to farmers and ranchers across the state.
But why would these stations give valuable airtime to programming focused on agriculture? We traveled to a few stations to ask them ourselves.
Acadiana's #1 for New Country 97.3 The Dog.
Bruce Michaels is a staple on the radio in Lafayette, and he knows the importance of agricultural programming to the people listening to 97.3 The Dog.
Well, it's really simple. When you drive around South Louisiana in particular, you look out the windows of your truck, you see fields, you see cattle, you see rice, you see soybeans. So agriculture is big and it's important to us. It's important to our audience, and that audience needs information.
Delivering reports from the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture Radio Network is personal for Michaels. He grew up in Mississippi, spending summers in farm fields.
My dad is a USDA research scientist. He did boll weevils, so I know a lot about cotton. When I was a kid, our family vacations in the summer, we went to a cotton field because you had to go where the crop was growing. That's what my dad would do. And I learned a lot, not only about cotton, but I learned a lot about cotton farmers and the mentality and the toughness that it takes to be in this job.
41 minutes after 11 o'clock, our Mellow Joy coffee time.
Down Highway 182 in New Iberia, Jeff Boggs at KANE hosts Extension Agent Blair Hebert every Tuesday, something they've done for 20 years. KANE is also a Voice of Louisiana Agriculture Radio Network affiliate, one of the reasons it's now known as Cane Radio.
When we got to town, the nickname of the station was Oldies 1240. And I thought, here we are in sugarcane country. The call letters are K-A-N-E. Let's incorporate cane into the catchphrase of the radio station.
Va frapper 96 degrés et à cette heure, ça fait chaud dehors.
Mark Lane at KVPI in Ville Platte incorporates agriculture and the culture of his listeners into his programming.
We're one of the few radio stations from old school radio. We still do local news, local obituaries. We still support our local French our French culture. We have French language programming. We translate the news in French.
An awards case in the lobby shows the station's dedication to the farmers and ranchers of Evangeline Parish as a Voice of Louisiana Agriculture Radio Network affiliate.
We're still a rural area, and there's a lot of farmers and producers that listen to us, and they want to hear what's going on in agriculture, and we provide that information.
This is one of the few jobs that you are literally dependent on the good Lord's kindness to make a crop for you. And then you hope the guys in Washington or Baton Rouge don't screw it up for you. That's one of our biggest issues in farming, is that we can't get the people who make the rules and the laws to listen or to pass a farm bill so we know what advantages or disadvantages we may face.
If you want to listen on a station in your area, you'll find a list on our website, twilatv.org. You can also have some of those reports sent to your inbox every morning at 5 a.m. Subscribe to the Daily Voice e-newsletter. We'll share that link as well.
In West Louisiana, farmers have won a small victory against a proposed 1,000-acre solar project. In a letter from lawmakers, including House Ag Chair Troy Romero, they asked Calcasieu and Jeff Davis Parish to put any solar projects on hold while laws regulating project permits are under review. The parts of the laws that are being closely examined are the lines that regulate decommissioning of solar farms. The Calcasieu Parish Planning and Zoning Board ultimately deferred any decision until their next meeting scheduled for November 19th. Well, giant Salvia is a plant that's native to South America that is now causing problems as an invasive species here in Louisiana.
It floats on top of the water. You've likely seen it in lakes and swamps. As Craig Gautreaux shows us, the fight to stop the spread of this plant is now centered around spreading a little weevil that kills it.
The environment of coastal Louisiana is prime habitat for giant Salvia, one of the most invasive aquatic weeds in the world. When it forms dense mats like this one, it can have devastating effects.
Giant Salvia completely blocks out the light, and effectively it kills off all the submerged aquatic vegetation, and that depletes the oxygen levels in the water, so that can lead to fish kills, invertebrate kills, and things like that.
The weed can quickly inundate an area.
Salvia can double its size in about 36 hours, so it is an exponential grower.
Salvia is being controlled through 3 methods. One is using herbicides. A second is physical removal. The third is a biological control method using a weevil that causes the plant to eventually die off.
Typically, the damage starts off presenting itself looking like the yellowing that you see. And then it starts to turn brown, and eventually it'll turn black. And once it turns black, that's when it sinks down to the bottom.
The weevils have proven effective in controlling Salvia, but how long it takes to accomplish this may vary.
We have seen complete control, meaning going from a thick mat of giant Salvia to open water in about 4 months. However, in some instances too, it can take about a year or so for weevil populations to get established.
Shackelford says when plants begin to yellow and turn brown due from damage caused by the weevil, he recommends moving some of the damaged Salvia to greener areas to help disperse the weevils. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
If you're in a coastal parish and would like the LSU Ag Center to bring you some of those Salvia weevils free of charge, get in touch with your local extension office. Still to come on TWILA, they told me I could not make a shrimp on the Barbie joke, so I'll just say we'll transform Vermilion Parish to a land where women glow and men plunder. You Men at Work fans from the 80s will get that one.
Wasn't alive yet. Plus a little creativity and a love of rice could score you a few $1,000s. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Being right on the water, it would not be too much of a stretch to call Vermilion Parish Louisiana's Down Under.
As TWILA's Mackenzie McLeod shows us, after some college students from Australia paid the parish a visit, they can definitely claim that title.
International trips are something that not everyone gets to experience, but for the students of Marcus Oldham College, an agricultural institution in Australia, it is a part of their curriculum. Ollie Vidor, one of the advisors on this trip, explains why they bring the farm business management students on these types of tours.
We find it really beneficial sort of to get the students out of their comfort zone. It can be quite overwhelming from that cultural difference, that cultural perspective, but also to see, I guess, how we compare in Australia and farm production systems compared to other countries.
On this trip, these students spent time in Texas and then came here to Vermilion Parish, where they toured farms of different commodities, including sugarcane, alligators, crawfish, and cattle. They started out the day in a sugarcane field. Student Hugh Velpade talks about how not only did the farmers teach the students, but the students taught each other as well.
I know we've got it in Australia, but I've never seen any of it or even spoken to anyone about it, so just what they do, and then a few of the fellas we're here with explained a bit about what we do at home too, so it was pretty cool to see.
The Vermilion Gator Farm was their next stop. Student Tanner Morris talks about some of the things on market decisions that she learned there.
Discussed that the watch market might be flooded at the moment, so therefore they want to move into maybe a bigger animal so that they can make bigger things out of the skins.
A crawfish pond was where the tour took them next. This was the favorite spot for student Matthew Dykes, and he talks about just why he found it so interesting.
The crawfish farm, that was really interesting to see, just the way they've got two completely different sort of production systems, rice and crawfish, and they're working them together symbiotically.
After that, the day ended with cattle. First, a premium grass-fed Angus beef production farm, where they learned about improving the quality of the carcass to get the best profitability. Then a Brahman barn, where they learned about the breed and what makes a good-looking show cow. Having been all over to different farms learning their various methods and systems, there is one takeaway that they all mentioned in some capacity.
The love for farming has been excellent.
Your guys' admiration for farmers and your willingness to back farmers.
Everyone's passion for agriculture, and just to share what they do and how they do it, and just welcoming us all onto their farms and into their lives for the day.
A spirit of learning and teaching rooted in the passion and love for farming was shared everywhere these students went. For this week in Louisiana Agriculture, I am Mackenzie McLeod.
Marcus Oldham College is Australia's only private agricultural university. They do accept international students, so if you're looking to study abroad, look them up.
If you're feeling creative, now's your chance to make a video and win a scholarship as part of National Rice Month. Here's some inspiration from last year's winner.
Like, really? What's going on over there?
Rice!
No way! That's rice! You mean the celebrity rice? I don't really keep up with the news. What's so special about rice? Where do I even begin?
With September being National Rice Month, USA Rice and the American Commodity Company are offering $15,000 in scholarships to students who can make a video promoting, you guessed it, rice. The contest is open to high school students from rice-growing states like Louisiana. Entries are due by October 15th. You can find a link to submit on our website at twilatv.org. Well, still to come on TWILA, we'll check in with Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain, for a story that certified Louisiana.
And when you pull something that's 100 pounds out of your garden, it's usually a boulder, but not this time.
So seafood is Louisiana, and Louisiana is seafood.
We are in Cocodrie, Louisiana at Faith Family Shrimp with Angela Porche. This is the lifeblood here in Cocodrie, and this is the heart of the shrimping industry.
So we're here at Faith Family Shrimp Company, and we are unloading shrimp, boiling shrimp, drying shrimp, beating shrimp, processing shrimp, bagging shrimp today. We're family owned and operated. Me and my husband own it, and we love to serve our local fishermen and our local customers.
You know, the shrimping industry is a billion-dollar industry here in Louisiana, and that is the lifeblood and has been, for centuries here.
Chad's dad was a boat builder. He was a shrimper, started out, and then he ended up building boats. He built 160 boats in his lifetime. He was 66 when he passed, and a lot of those boats still travel along Bayou Petite Caillou today, and we get to unload those boats.
The boats bring in the shrimp that were caught last night. Within a few minutes, they are unloaded and already put into the boil, and then they're starting the dry down process.
So the old man that built this place is still alive. He built it in 1968, and he stops by almost every day, and he comes and he tells us, y'all doing a great job, everything's good, and he'll come taste it. And he'll say, okay, they're ready, they're finished.
Oh, the shrimp are beautiful. They are, you can't get any fresher than when the boat pulls up to the docks.
So I'm really not tall enough for this project, but all the good stuff
Yeah?
goes in here, the shaker. When people know that shrimp season is coming, they get excited and they love it.
The Certified Louisiana program, the certified, that means it is made, processed, it's from here in Louisiana, and it is the cornerstone of our entire program of buying fresh, local products here in Louisiana.
Being certified Louisiana was important to us because we wanted to make sure that people knew the product was coming straight out the Gulf of Mexico. It was coming straight from our local fishermen and on your plates.
If you want to help our Louisiana shrimpers buy Faith Family Shrimp, buy those certified Louisiana products, that's part of the culture. Certified Louisiana's Crawfish Tales with Commissioner Mike Strain was brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry Certified Louisiana program. For information about the Certified Louisiana, Certified Cajun, Certified Creole, Certified Craft Beverage, and the Certified Farm to Table Logo program, visit certifiedlouisiana.org or ldaf.la.gov. Support Louisiana families. Look for Certified Louisiana logos at your favorite grocery, restaurant, or farmer's market. Buy Louisiana. It's the way to grow.
Now, the teleprompter says that we've all got fish stories, tales so big that they're hard to believe, but all of mine are true, I promise you.
Sure. A woman in Zachary has a melon story that sounds far-fetched, but she's got the video of the harvest to prove it.
Today is Big Mama Day. It's a lifting blanket. It has hands on it, so we can put her in here and pick her up.
Big Mama. There she is.
Whoa! Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna say 65 pounds.
That's Jeannie Buell with her 111-pound bouncing baby watermelon. She said she patiently watched the aptly named Big Mama grow all season, making sure she flourished.
Buell says she gave Big Mama water when she was dry and kept her shaded on hot days so she wouldn't burn. Lots of care. She hopes to share her prized melon with her granddaughter's school.
That does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll show you a new statewide weather project that could be coming to your backyard.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on X, what used to be Twitter, and also follow us on Instagram. You can find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you know when something new's put out there.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.